Mollie, let's get into some other issues. You were just in Boston for the National Sports Forum, had a really big panel there on what the media rights space is paying attention to. What were some of your takeaways from that session?
Well, my first big takeaway, Austin, was the Amtrak from New York to Boston in the winter is stunning. It's right on the water and with the snow and the ice. I stared out the window the entire time. I did have a fantastic session. It was an hour long, which is actually the longest session I've ever moderated. I had such fantastic panelists that I only got through about 2/3 of my questions. I had Lee Burke, who's the president and CEO of LHB Sports and Entertainment. I had representatives from Nesson, from Victory Plus, from the Dallas Mavericks, and from FanDuel Sports Network. So it was a whole variety of people and lots of conflating opinions, as you can imagine. The biggest takeaway, no one agrees. No one knows how to solve the problem of RSN. No one really knows where the future of media is going. What everyone can agree on is that you need to be on multiple platforms, right? Like you see FanDuel Sports Network is launching on Prime Video now. You have Nesson launching a FAST channel. You have Victory Plus that's streaming only and available to everyone. Then you've got the team side that's trying to figure it out too. The Mavericks just launched Mavs TV, which is a streaming only option. But that was the biggest takeaway, is you can't just have one strategy.
Definitely interesting timing for the Mavs to be launching that post Luka. It would have been nice to have a very marquee star attraction for that. But like you said, way more questions than answers in the RSN space right now. So not surprising that a lot of the people are like, we aren't really sure what direction it's going to take. Some more questions out there, Mollie, with Max and the future of how sports are going to be presented on that platform. What's the latest with Warner Brothers Discovery?
Max, their streaming service, was initially slated to launch an additional tier that had sports content. It's going to be $10. It was called BR Sports. They pulled that idea. So now, if you have an ad-free subscription, so the premium subscription, you will continue to get sports content for free. That was not the initial plan. They're also pulling all CNN content and sports content from the ad-supported tier. So if you are like me and don't love paying the extra, you're not getting your sports. Max is one of the only streaming services that had a plan to additionally charge for sports, right? If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you're getting the NFL. If you are a Peacock subscriber, premium, again, you're getting all those sports on there. Max was going to charge you extra. That plan was made when Warner Brothers Discovery still had the NBA. They have lots of new properties now, but they would have been the only streaming service to charge extra for sports in addition to that premium content. So, Austin, our colleague Adam Stern had an interesting report on the future of media rights with MotoGP and that it might be moving to Fox Sports. What do you think of that?
First off, it's interesting timing because the series starts this weekend and the first race is going to be airing on True TV. It's a race from Thailand. But I think the move would kind of make sense for Fox Sports. They've shown that they have a penchant for motorsports. They're in business with NASCAR, the start of a new deal there. They're starting this weekend with IndyCar, that series on Fox. They've shown that they want to be in this sort of space. Plus, Liberty Media is in the process of buying the MotoGP series. They're the ones that own Formula One. And I have to believe that if Liberty Media does acquire this, they're going to want to add some more United States-based races. There's only one right now. You've seen F1 get to 3 races, maybe even a potential 4th in the future. We'll see. So MotoGP, I could see them adding some more U.S. races and making that a little more valuable for a network like Fox. I like the idea of it. All right, Maya, let's get to a little bit of a lightning round before we get to William Mao of Octagon, who's going to break down some other recent issues for us. Our colleague Josh Carpenter reported that Annika Sorenstam, the Golf Hall of Famer, is pushing for Larry Scott, the former Pac-12 commissioner, to be the next head of the LPGA. Why is it important to a media rights podcast? The LPGA has a media rights deal coming up. Very important. People often do forget that Larry Scott, while the Pac-12, that just didn't work out. I'm going to put a lot of the blame, though, on the Pac-12 school presidents. Did not get that media deal done, but I think he was successful as the head of the WTA when he ran that women's tennis organization. I think he could help the LPGA specifically with its upcoming media rights.
Well, he couldn't corral the Pac-12 presidents, but it could be a good fit for him. You mentioned tennis, so the ATP and Overtime have signed a content partnership deal. This makes a lot of sense to me. We just had Dan Porter on the podcast last week. ATP is targeting that Gen Z audience. Overtime reaches over 100 million people. It's a good deal.
All right, last thing, Mollie, a couple of talent decisions made up at ESPN. First, Richard Jefferson is going to be the third person in that NBA Finals booth alongside Doris Burke and Mike Breen. It's a good decision. I like his personality. It's been a really good addition to the NBA talent on ESPN. Curious to see how he does. And a decision that I think is a really good one for ESPN. re-upping with Laura Rutledge. She'll continue to do NFL sideline work. She'll be the host of SEC Nation, do a lot of work around college football, golf, also maybe take on some other responsibilities. I think that's a really good re-up for ESPN.
And that news comes right ahead of the Combine this weekend.
It does.